Welcome to Volume 6 of Lord of the Mysteries, The Blasphemer. The previous volume concluded with Ammon suddenly appearing in Klein's home, completely taking control of him. This godlike reader stole his thoughts, attempting to forcefully occupy his brave fog space and seize one of the 9 sources. Sephira Castle. What are the sources? The sources are remnants left behind by the original creator, domains evolved from parts of his body. Klein was unable to contend with Ammon. The only way to escape Ammon's control was death, relying on the power of Sephira Castle to be reborn. At the same time, to prevent Miss Messenger from rescuing Klein, Ammon took him to the God-forsaken land to meet Ammon's main body. During the journey, Klein learned many secret knowledges from Ammon's words, and the ancient scholar potion was further digested. Meanwhile, the Tarot Club members successively recited the Fool's true name, praying to the Fool. Their prayers caused tremors throughout the gray fog space. These prayers became anchors for the Fool. This anchor of faith allows a deity to stabilize their own image. The reason why every deity needs believers is not because gods love the world, but to let the faith of believers become anchors, stabilizing their state so as not to lose themselves. Therefore, even though the Fool was currently controlled by Ammon, behind the seat belonging to the Fool above Sephira Castle, a figure condensed. However, the figure was not stable enough, sometimes distorted, sometimes scattered, and difficult to truly take shape. At this moment, Ammon and Klein arrived before a heavy, vast, grayish-white building. This was the place where the ancient sun god, the creator of the Silver City, and Ammon and Adam's father had emerged from. This place also had a very ancient name, Chernobog. Klein's heart contracted rapidly. He seemed to realize something. Finally, he confirmed that the current world was indeed Earth after its destruction. Thinking of this, a sigh of despair arose from the bottom of his heart. Perhaps I have never left my hometown, yet I can never return home. At this moment, the ancient scholar potion was completely digested, and the resonance between Klein and the Tarot Club members' prayers also became intense. With a thought, he could directly enter Sephira Castle. However, this was also the best opportunity to steal Sephira Castle. All of this was within Ammon's calculations. At the critical moment, the Black Knight goddess intervened and stopped Ammon. Klein seized the opportunity to return to Sephira Castle, raising the sea god's scepter high in his hand. Vast and terrifying power gathered, transforming into a surging torrent of lightning. Terrifying silver, white lightning tore through Klein's body. He finally succeeded in committing suicide. At this moment, Klein realized that the previous resurrection was because Sephira Castle had granted him the Miracle Invoker's ability of resurrection in advance. Miracle Invoker was sequence 2 of the Seer pathway. In other words, Klein had only used the Miracle Invoker's ability in advance, and only had one resurrection opportunity left. Afterwards, Klein revived in Silver City, breaking free from Ammon's control. Klein retrieved the Antigonus family notebook from the historical void and divined the Miracle Invoker Sequence 2 potion formula. The advancement ritual required bringing a lost piece of history back to the current era. This method of advancement directly pointed towards Silver City, trapped in the God-forsaken land. Perhaps this was unavoidable fate. At this moment, Klein, with the aid of Sephira Castle's power, directly arrived in a certain segment of history and discovered that the first transmigrator was actually the Black Knight goddess. Klein remained silent until the Tarot gathering began. At this gathering, the world proposed hunting down the Aurora Order's Saint of Secrets, Buddhas, the betrayer of the Abraham family. All members together formulated a detailed and thorough plan, waiting only for the opportune moment to arrive. After the meeting, Klein began to have his marionettes recite the honorific names of various true gods, attempting to obtain divine assistance in the God-forsaken land as a means to contend with Ammon. When the honorific name of the Lord of Storms, Leodoro, was recited, hundreds of lightning bolts intertwined and descended, instantly covering the entire area. Klein gazed at the marionettes charred by the lightning strikes and smiled with satisfaction. He had gained another trump card. Soon after, Miss Justice completely digested the Dreamweaver Sequence 5 potion. Under the shadow of war, during a large-scale mass, amidst the intense resonance generated in the hearts of over 10,000 people, Miss Justice officially advanced to Sequence 4, Manipulator. At the same time, the Tarot Club members began hunting Buddhas. Buddhas was first lured by Miss Magician's Lyman's travel notes. Although he possessed the Grade Zo sealed artifact, the box of the old days under Mr. Fool's gaze, the Sequence 4 Buddhas perished. Miss Hermit offered the Grade Zo sealed artifact, the box of the old days, to the Fool and left a Tarot card, the Hermit, at the scene. Afterwards, Miss Magician told her teacher, Dorian, about killing the betrayer Buddhas and mentioned that Mitcher World intended to make a deal with him using the box of the old days. or the promise of resolve the Abraham family curse. Dorian finally made up his mind to personally meet Jarman Sparrow. For that ethereal hope, for the future of his family, he was willing to pay with his own life. In the end, Dorian reached an agreement with the Fool. The Abraham family converted to the Fool's faith, and the Fool would protect them and avert the curse. Not long after, in the northern district of Backland, Leonard returned home from work and suddenly saw someone sitting on the sofa. Noticing Leonard's entrance, he raised his head, adjusted the monocle on his right eye, and revealed a playful smile. It was the blasphemer Ammon. In the end, Ammon took the sequence 1 Beyonder characteristic of the old angel in his body. In other words, Ammon was one step closer to godhood. The next step was to prepare for the seer's godhood ritual, to replace someone else's position in their godhood ritual. On the other side, Klein walked in the god-forsaken land and arrived at Moon City, which was similar to Silver City. He used the sun god's relic, the unshadowed cross, to help the hunting team cleanse the pollution within their bodies, gaining the trust and respect of the Moon City residents. As a result, he received a piece of information. 2 years and 2 months ago, an anomaly occurred in the grayish-white fog near Moon City. This date was exactly when Klein transmigrated. Klein discovered that the gray fog had once spat out a curtain containing the Sequence 1 Seer Beyonder characteristic. However, this attracted the Sequence 2 Miracle Invoker, the Gloomy Wolf, who left the gray fog after obtaining that curtain. Therefore, Klein began to search for the Gloomy Wolf, but unexpectedly encountered Ammon's avatar again. Ammon tricked Klein into contemplating the starry sky. Klein was almost corrupted but unexpectedly learned a lot of hidden knowledge. Why did the Black Knight goddess risk provoking a god war to seize the uniqueness of the death pathway? Why would the 7 gods tacitly approve of the emergence of a Black Emperor? Why did angel kings like Adam and Ammon, after being dormant for countless years, step out from behind the scenes and onto the stage in the current era? Why was there only one transmigrator released by Saphira Castle in the previous 4 epochs, but 2 released in the 5th epoch? The answer to all these questions was because the apocalypse was approaching. All gods wanted to become existences beyond sequence, to resist the outer gods from beyond Earth. It turned out that there were levels above gods, and they were called the Old Ones. The outer gods gathered around Earth, coveting this world and wanting to reclaim their source power. At the same time, with the world's help, Emlyn the Moon hunted a Sequence 4 Witch King and obtained the Beyonder characteristic. Not long after, he successfully advanced to Sequence 4 Witch King, which was equivalent to a count in the Blood Clan. The flames of war continued to burn on the land of Backland. Pain and hunger filled this land. Eventually, the kind noble Lady Justice pushed from behind the scenes, causing a parade to break out. The nobles yielded and donated most of their grain. Soon after, Backland's defense line was breached, and the war fully erupted. The war led to deepening class contradictions and increasingly difficult lives. Their faith in the gods gradually collapsed. With the collapse of faith, the deities' anchors wavered, and the war between gods was about to begin. Audrey left the nobles' shelter and joined this imperial war, engaging in fierce battles with the Forsaken Empire's demigods. On the other side, Klein began hunting the Gloomy Wolf, constantly reciting the honorific name of the Lord of Storms Leodoro. Accompanied by rumbling sounds, hundreds and thousands of thick silver, white lightning bolts descended from the sky, emitting a strong aura of destruction. Finally, he defeated the Gloomy Wolf and obtained the curtain containing the Beyonder characteristics of Sequence 2 Miracle Invoker and Sequence 1 Seer. In Silver City, the son, Derek, advanced to Sequence 3, Justice Instructor. At that moment, rays of light rose up and enveloped the entire Silver City. The time was ripe. The Silver City team joined up with Klein and officially began exploring the Giant King's court, attempting to open the palace, where the Dark Angel was sleeping, and to unlock the shackles of the God-forsaken land. In the Giant King's court, they encountered 2 Silver Knights, and everyone worked together to resolve the trouble. Deep into the Giant King's court, they finally saw the sleeping Dark Angel Caesar inside. They originally did not want to disturb the Dark Angel, but the aura of Saphira Castle on Klein's body directly awakened the Dark Angel. According to historical records, the Dark Angel was the mastermind behind the murder of the ancient sun god, but at this moment, Klein truly understood the truth of history. The original creator split into multiple personalities, collectively called Primal One. Among them were 2 main personalities, one was God, and the other was Celestial Worthy. Once the ancient sun god ruled the world, God awakened within the ancient sun god's body. The higher the sequence, the closer one is to the Primal One, and the easier it is to be corrupted. Thus the Dark Angel and the Black Knight goddess summoned many deities and established Rose Redemption, successfully killing the ancient sun god. The God War directly affected the entire eastern continent, where living beings were almost extinct, and that land became abyss. Like with severed connections to other continents, 3 angel kings divided and consumed the ancient sun god's corpse, advancing to become the 3 true gods: Eternal Blazing Sun, god of knowledge and wisdom, and lord of storms. Afterwards, the Dark Angel returned to the ancient sun god's body, and dominated by negative and extreme emotions, evolved into the true creator. Therefore, what remained here was only the Dark Angel's spirit and will. When Klein discovered the first blasphemy slate beside the Dark Angel, the battle began. The evil spirit suppressed everyone. Lovia's eyes flickered, and she pounced towards the angel evil spirit. In her eyes, there was a hint of madness, but more of rationality and resolution. Lovia's wriggling flesh eroded the angel evil spirit, and the two figures were simultaneously restrained. Chief Colin used two dawn swords to simultaneously cleave the void, and silver-white light erupted. Derek also did not hesitate, and a huge ball of holy flames melted their flesh. In the brilliant light, pain was revealed in Lovia's pair of pale gray eyes, and her voice echoed ethereally.
海军呐，会吹奏我死里。
After Lovia's death, Colin transformed into viscous mercury, covering most of the evil spirit's body, continuing to restrict its movements. At the cost of his life, he restricted the angel evil spirit's actions, allowing Klein and Derek to simultaneously launch attacks on the angel evil spirit. In the end, in the scarlet-white radiance and holy flames, the angel evil spirit faded and dissipated. The tragic battle finally ended in victory. After the battle, Amun seized the opportunity and snatched the first blasphemy slate. In the astral world, the battle of gods began. The god of war allied with the Earth Mother Goddess to seize the Black Knight Goddess's authority. However, they did not expect that the Earther Goddess was not the Earth Mother Goddess he knew, but Lilith, the ancestor of the vampires, who had joined forces with the Black Knight Goddess to deceive the god of war for thousands of years. At the critical moment, Lilith betrayed the god of war, and the god of war fell. The Black Knight Goddess obtained the war god's authority. After the god war ended, the war in the mortal realm also lost its meaning, and the angels withdrew from the battlefield one after another. The war thus ended. Audrey walked back into the city, seeing the surviving citizens blankly staring at the ruins of Backland. They did not cheer, did not shout, nor did they curse and vent. Their expressions were numb, their eyes were dazed. They did not know why the war suddenly broke out, nor why it suddenly ended. In the Giant King's court, the orange-red light illuminated the palace where the Giant King once resided. The light of dusk finally shone on the steps of the Giant King's court. Colin's aura gradually dissipated, with only his will and spirit remaining. Colin, the greatest chief of Silver City, looked at Derek, this demigod who was not yet an adult, and said with a smile, "Compared to the elders of the past, Lovia and I are fortunate to die here. This time when you return, you will be a member of the six-member council. I know relative to your age, this is a very heavy responsibility. But everyone in Silver City must be ready at any time to shoulder the fate of everyone. From today onwards, everyone in Silver City can freely convert their faith to that Mr. Fool." Finally, he asked Derek to push open that door. Derek's eyes reddened. He went around the iron black throne and came to the gray, blue door depicting a twilight scene. He stretched out his hands and pushed hard. Tears rolled down Derek's face, and the heavy sound of the door opening rang in his ears. A crack appeared, letting golden sunlight shine inside. The crack grew larger and larger, and a sea shimmering with golden light gradually appeared in Derek's eyes and Colin's eyes. Bathing in the warm sunlight, Chief Colin's body evaporated little by little. A smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. This was the light that Silver City had guarded in the darkness for more than 2,000 years. Light was the meaning of everything. Silver City, with the help of the Fool, had obtained salvation. Thus concludes Volume 6 of Lord of the Mysteries, The Blasphemer.